Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Thank you for tuning into another Supatease video. And I've been talking a lot about Demonology Warlock leading up to patch 9.2 and how awesome it is truly going to become when you fully unlock its power with double legendaries and its 4-set bonus. However, getting up to that point is going to be a little bit of a tough start. You're going to have to grind it out. And I've been experiencing that myself in 9.2. The game is a lot different without your set bonuses and without the double legendaries. The class balance is a lot different, and the feel of the specialization and the power overall is a lot different as well. And if you want to stay up to date with all those changes, set bonuses, and incoming changes to the game in general, then make sure you hit the subscribe button, because I bring those patch changes to the channel here in real time. But in this specific video, I'm going to be talking you through what's been getting me success on Demonology Warlock and is only going to be getting me more success as I continue to unlock its full potential. So at the moment, we're only just the base level. We're going to be powering up and powering up and powering up. And when we hit that final point, our demon bolts are going to be massive, and it is going to be worth the wait. And that's what I tell myself when I have to run into these melee cleaves over and over and over again at the moment. So in this video, I'm playing with a Vesper Totem Elemental Shaman and a Holy Paladin. I particularly like this composition because it synergizes into just nailing that Decimating Bolt, Demon Bolt, Vesper Totem one-shot window while stunning the whole enemy team. So offensively, it's really nice. Defensively, it can become a bit of a struggle when enemies are able to get onto your elemental shaman for a prolonged amount of time. So I'm going to be running you through what to do. Against these cleaves, I usually just drop my gate immediately, because a lot of teams will just rush you down and you won't be able to get a gate, and that will be devastating. I utilize Curse of Exhaustion to snare enemies from getting into a good position, and I try and use Fear to prevent them from moving in to get their crowd control. Here, I stun the enemy Retribution Paladin as a bit of a peel. I'm trying to get distance. It looks like this team is going to be tunneling my Holy Paladin, so I want to just be pushing away the enemies as much as I can with those Curse of Exhaustions, keeping them slow in the initial stages of the fight. But as soon as we get crowd control on the healer, I'm going to start getting some Hand of Gul'dans out, start summoning some imps, go for my Tyrant. We have the healer in crowd control with no trinket, so it's time to reset my soul shards, get my Tyrant rolling. But I see the Ret has popped Avenging Wrath. We're going to still fear the priest, go for Decimating Bolt, go for our Demon Bolts, tell our allies that we're doing this. Honestly, maybe should have waited for the Decimating Bolt. You want to line this up with your dogs, because your dogs are going to increase the damage of your Demon Bolts by 20%. Regardless of that or not, we still end up getting bubble in this position by using our stun lock on the Ret into a death coil while the priest was crowd controlled. Once the Ret is immune to damage and bubble, we're going to do a lightning lasso swap to the warrior, try and get as much damage out onto the warrior to bait some more cooldowns from the priest, and we're really waiting for diminishing returns. Here I interrupt the heal on the priest, and I'm going to spam Fear the Ret Paladin and try and get distance for my Holy Paladin to get away, still utilizing those Curse of Exhaustions in between the freedom windows. We get a full hex onto the healer. So I want to keep lobbing out my instant Demon Bolts that as I get them with procs, and keep getting my Hand of Gul'dans out, so the next time my Decimating Bolt is available, I'm going to be amplifying Demon Bolt's damage by as much as possible. Here we have no Fear diminishing return for the Ret, and our healer is stunned, so it's a bit scary. I instead choose to Fear the priest, try and get some counter pressure, but even in that midst of that, we still have to use bubble. I'm going to use Shadow Fury to try and protect the bubble from the Shattering Throw. I'm going to use Fear to try and protect the bubble from Shattering Throw as much as I can to stall out so my Paladin can get away and begin to recover. But now we have no bubble on the Ret, and we have no trinket on the priest, no will on the priest either to escape crowd control. So we have a bit of a checkmate position as long as we can stay alive and get back onto the Ret with that crowd control on the healer. Here we use Thunderstorm onto the DPS, and we're going to use Curse of Exhaustion soon and Fear Spam to try and keep the Ret Paladin away. Here I made a mistake. This seems to be a common mistake I'm making on my Demonology work that I'd like to improve on, is saving those dogs, the Unleash the Hounds kind of button that you press out where you send those Dreadstalkers in. You want to save that for the Decimating Bolt. I think I was thinking that I'm not going to be lining up my Decimating Bolt. Perhaps they actually do just come off cooldown at that time, but you do want to have those rotated and available. We're going to spam Fear Warrior, Ret Paladin, stun Ret Paladin, and then Fear Priest to try and get the Ret out of the game as much as possible. We're going to coil the Ret when he bops our stun. Here we summon in the dogs, and we're going to line it up with Decimating Bolt. Then we're going to empower it with Power Siphon, and we're just going to dump as many of these instant Demon Bolts as we can. And when we are fully geared with set bonuses, double legendary, and we have more imps than we did in that position, honestly, that one-shot is going to be an insane one-shot. Regardless, it gets another cooldown from the priest with the Rapture out of the way, and every time we send one of these big attacks, then the next Vesper Totem from our Elemental Shaman is going to become even that more lethal. We set up Vesper Totem, Ret Paladin gets chopped down to about half health, Wings proc on the Ret, but we've got the Ret so low, we want to be going for the kill at this point. We go for Lightning Lasso on Ret, Hammer of Justice on Priest. They're both crowd controlled. The Ret is still so critically low. We're summoning in as many imps as we can to finish the job here. Rallying Cry from the Warrior stops the kill for another moment, but we can secure a full Hex. We have our Axe Toss coming up pretty soon. We have Trinket to escape this crowd control. The Rallying Cry is going to fall. Shield of Vengeance is stopping our pursuit, but we've got the Tyrant. We're going to use Tyrant outside of our Decimating Bolt window here just because we're so close to a kill. Just ramp up as much damage as we can. Fear the Priest out of the crowd control. Continue the chain. Hex, Hammer, Fear, and keep getting as many imps out as we possibly can. Fell Obelisk down to buff all of our imps and our Tyrant, and just keep lobbing out as many Hand of Gul'dans as we can. Double Shadow Fury. Our Paladin is desperate here. Only one Blessing of Protection available. You cannot Blessing of Protection out of a Hammer of Justice, so if that stun lands, it could be game over for us. We're just ramping up as much damage as we can. We've got that Mortal Coil Decimating Bolt coming up. That's going to be our big combo. We've got our Dreadstalkers available and off cooldown, so we're just fearing the Ret, getting them away from the target, trying to peel them. We Fleshcraft here to try and immune a Fear. Unfortunately, Fear wasn't available, but would have been a cool play if it was. Decimating Bolt, line it up with Power Siphon, interrupt the heal, stun the Ret Paladin, and chunk out as many Demon Bolts as we can to try and go for the kill onto the Ret. Miraculously, he's still alive at 10% health after that. So we're going to use Axe Toss onto the Priest to try and set up for a Fear. Warrior stops our Fear with a Storm Bolt, but we're still in a good position to go for crowd control. Our Elemental Shaman is setting up a Vesper in the back line, so we're going to try our best to fear the healer. We get feared, we get tremored out. We're going to drop a Fear on the Priest, no Trinket for 13 seconds. If we can somehow line up enough damage here, we might be able to secure the kill. Priest has Will of Forsaken again. We're off healing, we're desperate, we're spamming Fear, barely surviving at 10%, using Curse of Exhaustion to try and keep them off of our Paladin as much as possible. Spam fearing the Ret into the corner, trying to get into a position where we have recovered and set up the Vesper. And you can see the Vesper hits really hard. That's probably as hard as we're going to hit when we can get our double legendary and our 4-set bonus. So the double threat is definitely going to be real at that point in time. That's the time that I'm kind of grinding this out for, trying to work my way through the pain at the moment, because again, the spec needs all of that unlocked to really meet its full potential. But if you'd like to join along in the journey, I am doing currently a challenge to try and get 2,400 on all classes. Right now I've got 4 underway and Warlock is one of them. So if you'd like to join in that process, twitch.tv/Supatease. And like I said at the start of the video, if you want to stay up to date with patch notes, changes, guides, what's going on with the game, why are things not working the way that you would expect, or why are they working the way that you would expect, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Comments down below with your thoughts. What is your experience so far with 9.2? Are you enjoying the specialization that you've picked? I do have a lot of other videos that I will have linked at the end of this one that may help you in your selection for this season, as it's likely to be a very long one. You want to make sure that you pick the right class. But other than that, thank you very much for watching the video. I will catch you in the next one.